Welcome to a special edition of Blended Views Unfiltered. This is DeAndre.
This is Nick. Yours truly.
Listen, so everybody's talking about the Kanye West joint.
Oh man, yee.
So we figured we'd come on and do a nice little end of the week special, just to talk on Kanye. Now, we don't know all the facts and all the ins and outs. You know, I'm sure my man Nick did some research and he done seen and heard some things. I have, and we're not coming from an ignorant place. This is all opinions, and of course, this is Blended Views Unfiltered anyways. So this is just what we do.
Share our points of view.
Yeah,
our blended views on the topic. I just realized I said yee earlier. I meant yay.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
Yeah, I was thinking of not Angela Yee. I'm talking Kanye. I mean, I guess the big question is Kanye crazy?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
I'm gonna attest. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna agree with you.
Yeah,
and say I don't think the man is crazy.
Nah, I was literally on social media today, and one of my boys had put up a post and was like, his question was, what did Kanye actually say that was wrong?
Yeah.
Like, what was wrong? He's like, man, I didn't listen to all the interviews. I didn't read all the like, what did he say that was like actually wrong? And we were just kind of like going back and forth based on that. I mean, I guess as we talked about what we started, like we can take it back to the White Lives Matter shirt, with the Candace Owens joint, and what they went into, what was it, a biography that she had did or some.
Yeah. So there was
George Floyd.
Yeah, they was going to I guess his Paris show or something like that, and they wore the White Lives Matter shirts. But I think that it was just, and because I got a background in marketing, I think it was just a very tactical marketing strategy to get the eyebrows raised and the questions drawn. And like you just said, Candace Owens has a documentary out right now called The Biggest Lie, or don't quote me on that, something about the biggest lie ever told, and going at the Black Lives Matter movement. And so the idea about wearing that shirt was kind of like a shot thrown at the Black Lives Matter. And the problem that I got with the media and everything is that the media, they take these little clips or little pictures and they just like, almost like, I'm just going to set this here and let everybody else, put their opinion on it. But a lot of times it's like nobody ever listens to what they got to say about it. Nobody ever listens to Kanye's entire interviews. Nobody ever listens. They just take them little sound bites that makes them look crazy and sound crazy, and then they create their own opinion around that and never listen to the entire narrative of what he's actually saying. Yeah,
I know. Like when I was watching the interview, because I hear a lot of people now. The debate's been going on all week about have black people. Are we canceling Kanye? And so some people say a split, and then you got some people voicing their opinions, but the whole thing is on the George Floyd thing based on what he's seen. And I know when I listened to the interview, I didn't hear him say anything. I know he said that George Floyd he didn't have a knee on his neck. He died by fentanyl.
Yeah.
Right. But he also stated that he got this information from the screening that he watched amongst however many people that was there as well. He quoted things from what he had watched with all these people, and then he just reiterated what he said. So I was just like, well, you mean to tell me my man can't come and regurgitate information, whether it's true or false? He's just regurgitating information that he heard. So in his own, what he took from it, he shared his opinions. And if he ain't allowed to do that, if we deeming him crazy or canceled or he was wrong for that, then every movie we watch, every show we watch, we should never, ever share our opinion about the movie, the show, the news. We should never share our opinions or our perceptions about anything that we ever watch and see.
Yeah.
Because we should be deemed crazy. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, we all have opinions about stuff. Where do we come off with not being able to use our amendment rights to have our opinions? And like you just said, everything that Kanye said in that interview obviously is, playing a part, because now a man goes on a public platform, states his opinions, talks about some issues. Now everybody's banning it. So what he said, was it true? It must have really had some type of truth to it. Because, I mean, if Kanye West said anything that was crazy, then anybody was just, oh, no, he's crazy. Let's write him off anyways. But he said something that sparked somebody.
Yeah.
I don't too much. I think it was really the Jewish comments and the, what was he saying?
That's the big thing.
I don't really know what that means.
Anti-Semitic. We can look it up. Look it up to see exactly what that means.
But I know his comments on the Jews. I mean, I believe that Kanye is in a different walk than the majority of us, being, you know, how much money he has and the doors that he goes into. So I'm sure the man sees things that we as regular individuals don't see.
Yes, I
agree.
And
I believe that, you know, he's fighting a battle that is shielded from, you know, majority of people that walk the earth. Like, you know, Kanye's being a billionaire. The dude sees stuff that most people don't see, and he's calling people out on it. And it's obviously he must have, you know, hit some sore spots because now everybody's canceling him.
He definitely did. So anti-Semitic means hostile to or prejudiced against Jewish people. So whether it was like hate against them or saying anti-Semitic, that all means against Jews. Now,
I seen a post. They're talking about Kanye said when he was talking about slavery was a choice and all that different stuff. Ain't nobody canceling from that.
That's a fact.
Many black people was mad about that.
Man, all black people was mad about it. Now the crazy part, I'm gonna have to find the article, but he actually gave a breakdown on what he meant about that. Listen, if you've been following Kanye West, which all of us really have for years, we all know he makes comments, he makes statements like this, pretty much like attention grabbers.
Yeah.
And then he follows up with a long, detailed, you know, whether it be interview or statement or whatever the case may be. So when he said that, he actually explained what he meant by, and a lot of that didn't even have to do with like slavery back in the day.
Yeah.
Like people start making it about that, and on the spot, he commented on that and gave his opinion, but he was really talking about like athletes, contracts that they put out there, and like the everyday worker. I'm gonna have to look it up, but he went into detail about what he meant by
and the thing
slavery
about it
was
is
a
now
choice.
we can go down that rabbit hole. What a lot of people don't talk about is like a lot of people do live in slavery nowadays.
Yeah,
you know, if you look
modern
back,
day,
if you look back on biblical times when they talked about slavery back in the day, that was basically like when if I owed you money, then there was no credit unions. There was nothing back in the day. So what happens was I owed you money. I came and worked for you to pay off my debt. Is that not the day and age we live in? You owe people money and you go to a job that you absolutely hate to pay your mortgage and stuff. And even if you go down that rabbit hole of the mortgages, I think it comes from the root word mortir, and that means death. So when you buy a house, they're basically, AKA, you're buying this and you're going to be paying this off till you die.
Yeah, that's the way it was structured. That's why it was always a 30-year. The bank had no faith that you would actually be paying for this joint for 30 years. At some point, you were going to be giving all this money back.
Is that not modern day slavery? Yeah. That sounds like modern day slavery to me.
And the same thing, I seen this thing the other day that said, it had nothing to do with the Kanye, but it said, it actually talked about what modern day slavery was. It said modern day slavery is going to work 40 to 60 hours a week and only getting paid 26 times out of the year. That's it. I get paid 26 times, and some people get paid a little less. Some people 26 times out of the year, but I'm going to bust my butt 40 to 60 hours a week just to get paid. Only 26 times out of the year.
And then after 40 years, the money that you saved up in a 401k is only like 40% of what you. It's like
that you're still going to get taxed on or penalized from when you draw from it.
So when you have conversations like this, then you go back to when the man said slavery was a choice. Well, if you enlighten yourself on what he's saying, is he crazy? Because the thing I don't like about most people, and I'm gonna say this, we need to stop making opinions about somebody or something until we know all the facts and stuff. So let's stop taking what the media is putting out to us and making an opinion about it. Is Kanye crazy? I don't personally think he is, but I really don't like when people hit the internet and stuff and they make comments based on a sound bite that you haven't even really researched the contents about what he's been saying. Like that, I feel like now we don't got to go political, but I feel like that was the situation with Trump. I feel like a lot of times nobody ever rarely listened to the debates, listen to his speeches and stuff, but you will listen to that 2-minute soundbite and make an opinion on an entire political race based on what the media want to put out. The media is made to sway you guys' opinions. So until you really sit down and see everything about what's going on, I don't think that it's right that people should go on and making opinions about something that they really don't know nothing about.
Yeah. That's where you come up with the term sheeple. Like sheep, you know. I'm a firm believer in it. It's sheeple. Like you, like whatever the masses do, you follow behind it. And if we gotta, I said to my homie, right? I'm like, listen, like everything. I wouldn't say I would cancel Kanye for the standpoint that the man went on. I watched the entire interview. I watched a couple more interviews also as well. Everything that he said they do, and everything that he said that they would do to him, they did. He didn't just warn everybody. He said, "This is how they operate. This is how they work. This is what they do." And as soon as if they hear this, because I mean, my man was dropping names.
Yeah,
he had receipts, and he was dropping it all. And he was like, "Yeah, this is how they operate, and this is what they would do." And then, from my opinion, I'm looking at it like, "Well, he's right." And then on the flip side, it's like, "Yep," and they're like, "Yep, that's what we do, and we not gonna change the formula just because it's you. We go ahead and take all of these micro clips and put it out there for the people because this is what controls the sheeple. We put this out there, they go form their own opinion and perspective based off this little 30-second clip, this 2-minute video, if they even watch it, because the average person watches a video no less than 60 seconds.
Exactly.
So you barely even get through 60 seconds, let alone a 2-minute clip, let alone a 3-hour friggin' interview where you're not gaining all the friggin' context of what someone's saying. You're just taking this little clip that and he said it, they control all of this. So the people who control all of this are just, let's take these clips and we just go bury them with it. That's exactly what's going on. Like we go, it's like, what they say, don't throw a rock and hide your hand.
Exactly.
They're already throwing the rock. They threw the rock, they hide in their hand and they let everybody else go ahead and do their job for them. They ain't even got to do nothing else.
Exactly. That's the media. The media is here. They feed you negativity. They want you to believe what they want to believe. And they do a dang good job at it because, like you said, we don't really need to cancel Kanye. Our people would do it for them.
Oh, heck yeah. Especially black folk.
Exactly.
It's like, man.
When you got people like, and I'm not even going to put out no names. Actually, I really don't. But there's a lot of black people out there that bash black people on the internet. Yeah. Ain't nobody canceling them.
Nah.
Ain't nobody cancel. Like I read something the other day. They said that J.P. Morgan Chase, they didn't drop none of Jeffrey Epstein's bank accounts.
Nope.
They didn't close none of his accounts up to the day he died. But y'all closing Kanye's accounts because Kanye, I don't even think he said anything negative about Jewish people. No. He just talked about how they control everything.
How they control it, and then
he might have. We
don't know everything, but I mean, I know what I heard, and then I know on the Drink Champs interview. In my opinion, he ain't saying. He was just pretty much saying, like, I'm here, I'm saying this, and F you if you think.
Exactly.
I mean, if I'm here, you see where I'm at. Like, I'm gonna say all this stuff, and you ain't gonna control me. At the end of the day, and a lot of people go to the he said I'm gonna go DEFCON 3 on the Jewish people. If everyone looks up DEFCON 3, what does it mean? Everybody automatically thinks that it's a super huge like threat on their lives when DEFCON 3 is only it's the highest level of security, meaning that he's going to secure himself with the. So it's like, if you don't know what some of this stuff means, that's the thing. Like no one's going out to actually do the research themselves. You just take it. It does sound bad. I'm gonna go DEFCON 3 on all. It sounds bad, but if you actually go and look up the definition of the joint, it's just the highest form of security that you can have. It ain't got nothing to do with actually hurting them at all. It just sounds bad. And again, that's that media push that they put out there. I mean, outside of that, he was just telling his truth, his version of the truth. And I mean, a lot of that stuff I believe.
I don't think Kanye said anything that should result in him his label being dropped, him being dropped from Adidas, all that different stuff, the personal criticism, all of the personal attacks. I don't think he said anything that can result in that. No,
it's just a big flex by the Jews. He basically said these are the people who control the music industry Hollywood, jewelry, and for them it was like, yep. And now watch it. It was just a big flex with them. Yep, we control all of it. And the thing is, it's like he's obviously grown to a certain status, billionaire status. My whole thing is, all right, so you got access to a bunch of people, information, and secrets that the average person doesn't.
Average person don't.
And for them, that's scary because, we can't control this Joker. He's a loose cannon. Like, he's a loose cannon. He can't be controlled. So let's go ahead and just make him look crazy.
That's what it comes down to. I feel like anybody that hits mainstream media that actually has a mind of their own that can't be controlled, the media does their best to, just kill their whole image, just to, assassinate their character, all of the different stuff. I feel like, and like I said, once again, this is not a political episode or nothing like that. I don't know who voted for what. I'm not really big on Democrat, Republic. But what I did notice in the whole time that Donald Trump ran for president is that you have this man running for president is loved by the entire black community. Mm-hmm. Where did the switch go from that point to him being in office? He's one of the most hated people. And then at the end, when he leaves, we got a new person that comes into the office as, I'm so out of it. I can't remember our president's name. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Sleepy Joe.
That's it. We get President Joe Biden that comes and the economy is in, for a lack of a better word, in the shits. Like, our economy is trash right now. Have you once seen a meme about Joe Biden? Have you once seen people talking about him or anything else? No, in fact, I seen a video where they're pushing the same wall and everything that Trump was talking about, but Trump was a bigot and a racist for pushing that wall. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is pushing the same wall with the same type of immigrant, illegal immigrant rules and everything else, and nobody's saying anything. I say that compared to Kanye West, compared to Kanye, because you get a person like you just said, says what he wants, is a billionaire, has access to these secrets and this knowledge and stuff like that. And when he's uncontrolled, we got to bury him. Yep. And I see this is the same situation I feel that Trump did. Now I'm seeing Kanye, and they ain't the first people that talked about this. Like, you shared that video with Dave Chappelle coming out talking about the same situation that he had with Comedy Central with his show and stuff like that. Yep. So they ain't the first people that said this stuff. That's the funny part about it, is that their level of influence is so high they have to be buried and they have to be silenced. Yep. And we living in a day and age where that's so scary that big tech companies and stuff like that can pull you right off of social media. Yeah. They can silence you in a blink of an eye for something that's scary to me. It's scary, and it shows you how much they don't care, for the simple fact that Adidas is going to lose $250 million in this last quarter of this year. Yes. They don't care. They could care less. A fourth of $1 billion. So that shows you how much they're just like, we just got to get this dude out of here. We'll take that L. That's scary to me. We'll take that L, so who cares? We're living in a day and age that we can't say we have a First Amendment's right, but it's not really a right. Nah, freedom ain't too free. Even we don't even got to go down this rabbit hole, really. But where do you go when the vaccines was out? You couldn't speak about them unless it was positive. If you said anything, they'll pull your content right off the internet. And that's the thing. That's scary to me. It's crazy because, so like as black people, right? As long as we saying and doing negative amongst and to each other, ain't nobody got an issue. We can let that ride. Nobody got a problem with it at all. But the moment a African American says something about somebody else, this dude is crazy. This woman got to go. Oh, she this, he that. It's just like, but in every other race can say stuff about us. That's what I'm saying. Nothing ever happens. Most of the time, them jokers get promoted. Man, we got or they get raised to a level of success. But then you let one of us come and say something about somebody else, it's all bad. But as long as and hate speech, right? So have Kanye ever called a chick a bitch in his lyrics? Never. Has he ever? He never talked about drugs. He talk about niggas. He talk about how come if Jews y'all they control the music industry, right? They control the music industry. How come we got so much killing
and rape culture and all that in music, and it gets pushed by the same people that try to silence somebody who that don't make sense.
There's more damaging lyrics that comes out of hip hop.
Yeah,
Rappers
to their own people,
talking about killing people, selling all this different stuff, and that's pushed way heavier.
Yeah.
Then you got Kanye that they don't even talk about. That they said that when Kanye wore that White Lives Matter shirt, the same place he had hundreds of kids singing Christian hymns and stuff like that. Nobody ever talks about that stuff. But we'll push, like you just said, we'll push these new rappers and stuff like that that's talking about, killing people, or, I'm not even gonna get on the topic about female rap. I don't personally like the new days female rappers because it's so raunchy. That stuff will be pushed to mainstream. They want that to get through to everybody. But let's silence a Kanye, or let's, anybody that has anything positive to say, they're not gonna get as much. They might not silence them, but they ain't gonna push their stuff to mainstream.
No, you get buried. The numbers won't be pushed at all. It's just wild. But if you look at the behind the scenes, even what a lot of the stuff that's coming out with what Kanye was doing, he approached some black brands, African American brands, with his shirts, his shoes. It's like, I want to bring all of my stuff. Once my contract is done, I want to come over. This was back in like September or something like that. They released a joint. The article came out about it. I was reading. So he was trying to take all of his apparel, his shoes, to a black owned company versus. So I feel like the more and more stuff becomes or gets uncovered, you start actually seeing like, okay, so the threat of them losing, like this, what is it? They were bringing what, 4.2 billion?
I don't know.
They were getting, don't quote me, I think those were the numbers to get between Gap and Adidas. So the threat of having all of that going to a now 100% African American owned business, and they miss out on all of that money. Yeah. Like, what does that do? Because it's not, okay, this is just 1 billion there. Now we're talking about a whole company of them. Yeah. Coming up. You know what I mean? And don't get us wrong. I don't think I can speak for nigga. Like, neither one of us, we ain't got nothing against no other race. No. But it's just one of those things, like, we continuously see the same thing, and for whatever reason, it's like, I don't know, our people, we don't stick together when it comes to a lot of this stuff. No. And at the end of the day, it seems like no matter at what level of success that we get, somewhere down that pipeline, we dang near got to kiss somebody else's butt that ain't black. Exactly. In order to make it somewhere, and let it on, okay, we gonna let you in the club. We gonna let you in the good old boys club, only to then, but you got to act right though. You gotta make sure you play your cards right. Don't say nothing. You here for, like, oh, you a billionaire status. So now you gotta fall back off of all that. But I don't know. To me, he's actually, like, you talk about like a revolution and actually starting something. Yeah. And listen, I know my man said some crazy stuff over the years. Oh, well, let's put that out now. Like, we're not saying Kanye's perfect. Kanye has said crazy stuff. He said some crazy stuff. But to label him as a crazy man and to, like, I don't agree with. I don't. And like I said, me and Dre is on the same page. Like, yes, Kanye has said wild things. Trump has said wild things. Let me go back and clarify myself there too. Trump has said wild things. But the point that we're trying to make is that the media will control how you look at something if you allow it to. So what my biggest thing is, before you judge a person or even make an opinion, look at all the facts, get all the data, look at everything from every angle, and then make that assumption. But all the things we're talking about that Kanye is doing, that doesn't sound like a crazy man to me. Yeah. Kanye, I think he has, and don't quote me on this, I think he was saying something like this. He has a water plant in the Dominican Republic with his dad. They got a business that's, putting out clean water or something like that down there. So it's like, there's things that he's doing now. Is that a money move? I don't know. But that doesn't sound like a crazy man to me. He has a lot of good things going in. And somebody also brought to my attention, right, that we got to take into account that because a lot of people say, well, when he had that mental breakdown, and I think it's cases like this that make it hard for people to actually discuss mental health. And she was sharing that, like, when it comes to mental health, and behind it, everybody wants to deem you crazy, basically. But you can have an episode, you can go through certain things. That don't mean you crazy, and that don't mean that you ain't got no sense. But people will use that as leverage to go ahead and have people's perception of you be skewed and be off and be all jacked up based on the fact that at one point he did have some mental issues. At one point he did go to rehab, or he did this like.
But if you actually watch the documentary, when how close he was to his mom, at the time that his mom passed, you could see where the decline went down. But I'm not making an assumption here. Now, don't take this for facts, but he was married into the Kardashian family. That a lot of them brothers that come out of that family, you got to go through some therapy. So between the loss of his mom, being in that crazy situation, and then that's another thing that, for everybody that didn't actually watch the interview, that's another thing that he was talking about is the situation with his ex-wife. Yeah. How they was close to the Clintons. How they was trying to get Kanye to push the vaccine to black people. He was saying all this stuff in the podcast that to me is like, that is wild, that don't nobody talk about. And that's what annoys me, that people will make that assumption and say, oh, Kanye's, like he was talking about in an interview also. Or I don't know if this was the Drink Champs interview or this the interview he did with Tucker. I forget.
Carlson Tucker.
Yeah. And he was talking about how that situation when Kanye bought that house right next to Kim. And he's like, oh, he's a stalker. Oh, he's, trying to get close because she's leaving him. So he bought the house. Kanye went on there and talked about how they wasn't trying to let him see his kids. And so he was talking about how when he grew up, how his mom and them moved and took him away from his dad, so his dad didn't get to see him. He said, no, that ain't happening. I'm going to buy the house next door. That doesn't sound crazy to me. And there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of, fathers out there that don't get to see their kids because the mother is in control. But we don't have I'm not a father, but they don't have the access to money like he do, or the situation will be different. Yeah. So how many fathers out there can't see their kids because they don't got enough money for a good lawyer? Or they don't have, they live somewhere across the country and they don't have access or the ability to get back and forth as much. Kanye got the resources. He got the money. He buys the house next door. Now to everybody else, he's crazy because the media painted them this way. Yeah. But there's millions of fathers that go through the same thing. He just said, I'm not going through it. Yeah. That's not crazy to me.
No.
That's
not. And somebody that's going through something. That's a tough situation. I'm a father, so I know, it's a difficult situation. When you going through something.
Just imagine if one of your kids' mothers just jumped and said, I'm moving. And like you just said, the court system is for the mother. You can't do nothing about it. Right off
rip, yeah. There's a lot you can't do.
There's nothing you could do about it. So now if you was to say, okay, you going to move, wherever you move, I'm going to buy the property next door.
They would call me crazy.
There's nothing crazy about that.
They would call me crazy.
Exactly. But like you said, if you had the money, you can do, or if you can take the money and have a good lawyer. But millions of fathers don't got that. So what happens? They don't get to see their kids. Yeah. Kanye said, I'm not doing that. That's not crazy. Don't care what nobody say. That's not crazy.
Now, if he was still in love, which I think he was.
Well, I don't know.
Some of the tactics, here's something. So a lot of times we look at like celebrities or people who are kind of like put in the spotlight. And I guess we do it kind of like everybody kind of probably does it locally in their own circles too. They look and they judge other people, not remembering that they've probably done the same thing or worse. They're just in a better place right now.
Man, I'll tell you straight up.
Like, how you gonna be mad? Like, because even if he was in love and doing some stupid stuff and crazy tactics to try to get Kim back, that's aside from the child thing. But even if he was doing it, like, how many of these jokers be out here doing some wild stuff when they going through with their guy or with their woman? It's just like, but you go judge this man based on because he's in the public eye. And because media will go ahead and push that, you just ain't got cameras on you 24/7. That's the only difference.
And then first of all, half the people that's calling him crazy, y'all couldn't even walk a day in this man's shoes.
Listen,
I'd be the first one to say I couldn't.
And he wouldn't want to walk a day in theirs because they probably crazy, really crazy.
Bro, I watched one video. They were saying Kanye crazy. Look how he does the paparazzi. Bro, it was like 2:00 in the morning. These people are outside of his house taking pictures. Yeah, and so he went off like, why are y'all here? And then he tried to like chase them. But it's like, why are y'all at this man's house at 2:00 in the morning? Or the one video where he was getting off the airplane and he's like, can you get the camera out of my face? Yeah. So he grabbed the dude. Now, if you only seen the scene when he grabbed the dude, then yes, he's going to look crazy. But listen, I don't want nobody, that's bad English. I would be very upset if I'm trying to get off there. You know how crazy it is in the airport. And you got 10, 15 people trying to take pictures and get interviews. That'd be annoying to me too.
And you're just trying to get to where you're trying to get to.
And you got tons of artists that tell you they don't even like Nicki Minaj talks about how she don't even like coming out the house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when Kanye come out the house, all this crazy stuff, then y'all catch him do one crazy thing because he tired of these people sitting there following. Like it was, I looked the video up, but it was people literally like dang near in the bushes at his crib.
Yeah.
It's like, come on now.
Mm-mm.
And it's just like, most of the people that's calling, can y'all really handle that?
Nope.
Can y'all take, like, you know, we lose a person, we lose a father or mother, and yes, we got time to grieve. Do celebrities really got time to grieve? Because they still, hey, when the next song coming out? When is this next coming out? When is this? When is that? Paparazzi asking you questions, all this different stuff. You got to maintain. Most of us can't do that. We might have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, for sure.
Are we crazy or are we human? It's I don't know.
I don't know. I think the judgment that we cast on people a lot of times is unwarranted, and a lot of times we're not even well informed on why we're passing judgment. Yeah. We just see everybody jumping on the bandwagon, and it's up. Here we go again with this joker. Here we go again.
What you ain't actually say?
Yeah, you ain't taking the time to actually see what happened. What's wrong? You know, what went down? Maybe somebody did something that triggered this joker, and now all of a sudden, you know, we over here talking about we about to cancel him, and we don't. It's like, man, get out of here, man.
I think that Kanye is a human just like the rest of us. Have he said things that he probably wish he could take back? I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said earlier, I don't think that Kanye said anything that harming to people. Like you said, it wasn't no hate speech, wasn't no threats, it wasn't nothing that will cause everything around him to be dropped.
Yeah. And the way everybody start backpedaling too was just like, I mean, everybody. How all y'all jokers backpedaling?
At the same
time. I mean, Nori came in, he sounded like a joke when he started like apologizing and all that. And I was listening to Joe Budden's podcast and he should have. I'm just like, man, okay, so all of y'all pretty much saying the same thing based on the people who cutting y'all check. Because y'all don't want to lose y'all money.
That's what I'm saying. How can you be mad at the cat? Because he don't want to perform like y'all. He don't want to be the clown in the show. While everybody's sitting back writing the checks. Hey, go out there and talk crazy. Be the puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Because he don't want to be the puppet. Now something's wrong.
Yeah.
I think Kanye just proved everything right. That he said some stuff and the people with power, they pulling everything away from him, trying to control this man. But in reality of it, I swear, if Kanye was to go make a statement right now, I don't even think he'd care.
Mm-mm.
I think Kanye is trying to, fight
a battle. He
hasn't
stopped really making comments. I mean, he's still putting out little interviews. Anybody that'll listen. I mean, he hasn't stopped. I mean, he just filed for his city.
Oh man.
I mean,
did you see what was the rap? Was it Dolph or was it one of the rappers? Don't quote me on this, but one of the rappers said, "Hey, listen, I got 100 acres in Georgia, free of charge. Come start your Yeezy."
Dolph is dead, so it wasn't him.
Oh yeah, couldn't have been Dolph.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Dolph.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It was one of the young rappers. Let me think. I thought it was Dolph, but you're right. He's been gone for some months now. But one of the rappers said they got about 100 acres. He can come build a factory.
Yeah.
But I don't think Kanye. I think Adidas want to still use the look, but Kanye owns the name.
No. So they own the name Yeezy. They own Yeezy.
Kanye
and they
Yeezy.
Own the designs.
Adidas own Yeezy and the
yes. So they already put a shoe out. It's already a shoe out with the Adidas logo on there. So they can do that. Which is why he go. I think it was one of the reasons he went with the Ye joint. But he got his own new designs. He coming, and then his contract with the Gap ends in December. So everything he said once that hits December 15th, I think it was. Then they're to stop all production of everything, and that goes to him. So it really, I think, because a lot of people are saying also, if you paid attention to the drink champs joint, and then a lot of stuff that he did right before and right after, really he was shooting for 100% ownership. This is what people are saying, right? And a lot of it does make sense. So okay, if I'm somebody who wants 100% ownership, let me just go piss these people off to where they go cut me anyways. Yeah, but the one thing that they ain't got now is me. I'm the one with the designs. I'm the one that got the strategies. I'm the one that coming up. So yeah, you got my name, Yeezy. You got the designs over there for that. But what's gonna happen when I lower the price of the apparel? Because that's what he wanted to do too. He wanted to get with a company where he could lower the price of shoes and all of his clothes as well. What are you going to do when he starts mass producing this stuff and it starts to sell out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's.
I mean, he could. He started with Nike. Then he went to Adidas. Wherever he go, he gonna blow the brand up. Wasn't nobody wearing no Adidas, man.
Nobody.
I ain't seen nobody since Run DMC wearing a pair of Adidas.
Nobody was wearing Adidas,
man. Kanye hit the scene. Now Adidas back on top.
Yeah, for sure. And then imagine if we African Americans, black folk, stop bickering amongst each other and always coming down on each other and being against each other. Imagine if we actually came together and all got behind buying the brands like whatever. I don't know if he go with Ye, whatever he goes with. What if we got behind those type brands, African American owned brands and companies, and actually put our, because who spends the most money in this country anyways?
Black folk.
I mean, so if we actually banded together and did this, I mean, what would happen?
We should be able to build up any brand.
We can though. We've done it.
Yes.
For decades upon decades, we've legit done it. We've come up with the ideas. We've built the brands. We've blown them up, only to be not given credit, thrown out,
exactly,
deemed crazy. And then we got our own people that jump on there too. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just wild.
Like I said,
wild. I mean, we're now on the flip. We do got to step up, like our quality, customer service.
Don't put out no trash.
Don't put out no trash. But at the same time, though, if we all had the right resources, though.
And the thing about it is, man, I'm sure there's black-owned companies out there that don't put out trash. It's just every black-owned company is not bad. Let's not even put that narrative out there. But we just need to stop taking our money and spending it on these bigger apparels that don't give a rat's tail about us, and start looking and putting our money into black-owned banks, black-owned brands, black-owned stuff, and then we can grow our community. Mm-hmm. But then that's a whole nother podcast talk, because people ain't ready to hear that.
It is. It's going to take a whole lot of pride and egos getting set to the side, and that's really coming together and growing something, because we are stronger and better together than apart. So if we just stop fighting amongst each other and really like come together, I mean, we'd be unstoppable. I mean, you hear it all the time. Like, that's really what jokers are afraid of.
Yeah.
If we really unite and come together, like, you're gonna be fire.
We'd be unstoppable. But people don't want to hear that. That's the scariest thing to the man.
It is.
But I'll tell you this, my opinion, started it, we can end. Kanye is not crazy.
No, he ain't crazy. Joker's not crazy. We just got to open our eyes up.
And if anybody want to debate on that, it's Blended Views. We open up our podcast and we can have another conversation.
Oh, 100%. This is our opinion from our perspective on the research we've done, the things that we hear. You know, we talk about it. We've heard other sides. We see it all too, but it's just one of them things. It's like, just start having a mind of your own.
Yeah.
Please don't go based off of, and even listening to this, like, still, if you're listening to this, you watching this, go do your own research even after this. Like, you ain't got to even take our word.
You should always do that in life. You go to church and you hear the preacher, you hear your pastor, go home and read the Bible verses.
Yes.
If you go and you read a book, or if you listen to a podcast, leave there and go do your own research. Both of us, I can speak for Dre also, we've not only seen the sound bites, but we listened to the Drink Champs 3-hour podcast. Yeah. I've listened to the Carlson Tucker's interview. I've listened to Kanye talk about this. I've listened that he'd been, running with Candace Owens. That's another conversation. But I listened to what she had to say about the White Lives Matter shirts. So our opinions are not just coming off of 20-second Instagram reel or a YouTube short or any of that stuff. We took the time.
What's up?
BVU fam, we just wanted to take the time to thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Blended Views Unfiltered.
Because we love y'all.
And we miss y'all too.
Thank you for your support.
And we want you to take time out of your busy day and go check out our TikTok, our Instagram, and our Facebook. And for those of you who are not listening or watching on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe.
And we also got, listener letters. So if you guys ever have a question that you want us to address, if you ever just want to write in and say, you know what, Nick, your hair is always on point, or Big Mama is so funny, or Special K is so crazy, or that Dre always getting at the women.
Who is Special K?
Special K is crazy. But you can write us at info@blendedviewsunfiltered.com. That is info@blendedviewsunfiltered.com.
And always remember,
play the moments,
positive memories.
Stop the pain.
and keep the happiness on repeat. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.